A warm welcome to Anuradha Vedic Astrology. Today we are going to talk about Venus in the second house. But before that, a big thanks to all of you for liking, sharing and subscribing to our YouTube and Spotify channels and writing in your comments and suggestions there. If you haven't subscribed to us, please do. And do remember to press the bell icon so that we can get the updates ASAP. When Venus is placed in the second house, a person has a great sense of self-worth. You value yourself and as a result, you are able to showcase your talents to the world. You have a great esteem and you know that you are capable of many things in life, and that is why you are able to achieve many things in life. Again, Venus in the second house is all about accomplishments. I've always found that these people are somehow able to find their niche. They are able to understand how to garner wealth in life and as such can do great in terms of finding their niche in some area or the other, the niche that they find. Again, one more thing is that Venus being learnings and accomplishments, and the second house being your house of accomplishments, Venus also representing arts. I found that these people are good in some art form. You can take up the case of Hema Malini, you can take up the case of Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, or you can take up the case of the international composer A.R. Rahman. So you see, all of them, they have a different genre of understanding, a different genre of learning, but nevertheless, art has always beckoned. I've also found in the charts of laymen who have a Venus in the second house or a connection for that matter with Venus in the second house, they are always attracted to some art forms and they can do great work there. Venus, when present in the second house for a person, gives a person an ability to be good conversationalist and be very polite, very nice to people. Their sense of aesthetics is very great. They appreciate beauty in any form that there is, and they also know how to convey it to others. For A.R. Rahman, it is music that expresses his sense of beauty. If you look into to the ever graceful Hema Malini, she again has her Venus in the second house with Saturn. So we see that even at an age when she is so well progressed in age, she maintains herself well. She is a great dancer and is always very presentable and very well dressed. So we see a sense of aesthetic that comes across from people when they have a very strong Venus in the second house. Again, a Venus in the second house makes you very caring and loving towards your own family members, and you are very, very reachable to all the members of the family, because the second house is, again I repeat, the house of Venus itself in the Kalpurush Kundali, and Venus is all love and care. So that is where you pour in a lot of love and care there. It is also the kind of positions that one accumulates. One may be fond of collecting stuff, can have a need, a desire for different things that you may want. For some people I have found when Venus is in the second house, they may be wanting to collect small memorabilia from wherever that they travel. There are some whom I find are very much into jewelry, because the second house also represents jewelry. So bullion, so stamps, all these collectors that you find, stamps of high value, because Venus does not, until and unless it is debilitated, it will not go for things which are undervalued. So Venus here gives you an ability to collect things. It is very much into finances. Such people will work hard towards securing their finances. A.R. Rahman was forced into working from a very young age to look after his family and to make sure that his family had adequate finances to survive. Hema Malini also started working from a very young age, as is also the case of Atal Bihari Vajpayee. So, learning and finances for these people would start from a very young age. Again, when Venus is placed in the second house being the house of your wealth and also of your status. So, these people can have an attraction, a need to have good luxury and status, because that is what the second house for us also shows. As I talk about the family values that the second house shows, and Venus shows a good lineage. So, these people will also have very strong family values to live up to. Let us take a chart. Here I have been talking to you about A.R. Rahman, I have also been talking to you about Hema Malini, and I have also been talking to you about Atal Bihari Vajpayee. So, in this case I am taking up the chart of A.R. Rahman. His Venus is placed in the second house in the sign of Capricorn. This is to emphasize that it is very important to understand who Venus is sitting with, where it is sitting, because that would color a lot of things. Capricorn is essentially the sign of finances. Capricorn is essentially the sign of status. So, these people will definitely make very strong inroads into life. Professionally would want to climb up to the best possible place and win a lot of name and fame and a lot of money. Financial security would be very, very important. Having work at a regular basis would be very important for these people. When we talk of Hema Malini ji, in her chart we find that Venus is placed in the second house along with Saturn, and here Venus is placed in the sign of Leo. Leo is the regal sign. You would always find her in a very her looks, when we come to the second house, and second house talks about looks also, she will have a very regal look about her. And what more, with this placement of Venus, which is the fifth house of the natural zodiac, Leo being a sign of show, flamboyancy. So, you also see that she is a dancer, she is very highly accomplished as a dancer also, in addition to being an actress, and she has very strong followers in both the fields. So, we can see the charisma that the sign of Leo brings. Whereas, when you compare it with that of Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, where he has this Venus sitting with moon in the sign of Scorpio, the ability of the poet to delve deep into the emotional part of people and to bring his emotions to surface can here be seen by this accomplishment of writing, poetry, etc. from that Venus and in the sign of Scorpio, which runs deep and which gives a person a lot of research into that area. So, he knew how to understand, gauge the emotion of the person at large and could work his way around that. So, we see very well financially also he knew how to progress the country. We have seen many bold steps that he have taken, and you can read about it on Wikipedia, but we understand that finance, self-worth, etc. are very important when it comes to Venus. Just on a closing note, Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji in one of his interviews did say that I knew that I would be under a lot of sanctions if I went ahead and did nuclear testing, but I still went ahead because I had to do it for my country. I knew what my country was capable of. So, understanding your true worth is very much a possibility for those people who have Venus in their second house. Let us look at the other side. Let us look at what the flaws what this Venus can be. There can be an overindulgence. People here can spend beyond their means just to gratify their looks or for their comfort purposes. They can be highly materialistic and not looking into the side of religion, or should I say spirituality, because Venus in the second house, especially say in the sign of Gemini or in the sign of Aquarius, can make a person money oriented, materialistic orientation can be there. So the person may feel a need to, there may be a need for a person to look into the spiritual side of things also. Do let us know how you found this episode. Until we come back with you, stay safe. Please hit the bell icon for fresh updates. Don't forget to like, share and comment on the videos, and please subscribe to our channel.